Hello, I'm Matt Ledbetter with Training Valley. I'm a speed coach. I work with a lot of young athletes, and I'm going to share something with you. And again, I'm talking to coaches that are, maybe high school coaches that are trying to get their guys a little bit faster, that don't really have a lot of time to devote to the academic part of it. We're going to talk to you about toes up right now. Toes up is a term that we're hearing more and more in the speed world, and this is going to demonstrate why we want toes up. This drill right here is a max velocity drill. Okay, it's going to activate my hamstring, knee drive, and then down. Let's watch it in full speed. Okay, that was a max velocity drill. Now, what I want to show you now is the difference in toes up and toes down. Okay, so we're going to knee drive. Notice our knee drive, all hip flexor. It's not a hamstring. I just did my knee drive like I do in the drive phase. Okay, and that's toes up right there. That ankle is dorsiflexed versus plantar flexed. Okay, that's toe down. That's what you don't want to see. And if you're working with athletes that aren't trained, that's exactly what you're going to see. That's called plantar flexion or toes down. So we got toe up, toe down, toe up, toe down. Now, when that toe is up, that foot will strike right under the hip. You see the foot placement under the hip. When the toe is up, when the toe is down, rather, plantar flex, it's not going to strike under the hip. It's going to strike out in front, which is going to cause a break. He's going to break, and then he's going to have to pull now. And when we sprint, we have got to push. We need to be pushers. Okay, so when this hip flexor activates, okay, now we're going, that's hamstring activation. Okay, let's back that up. Hamstring activation, you will see this. If you see that butt go to the heel go to the butt, that means your athlete's using their hamstrings. Okay, this would be hip flexor activation. Right there, that hip flexor is a muscle, knee up. Right there, you got the pendulum working at the knee, toes up. This has got to be a skill that the athletes learn. And if they're not doing it, you have got to coach them. Toes up, hip flexor work, hamstring work. They need to know the difference. Okay? So this drill will start slow. It'll be a max velocity drill with a hamstring, knee drive, down. All the time the toe is up. Okay? So we have to be toe up at the back too. That's toe up at the back. That's the ankle dorsiflexed. Knee drive, toe up, down. All right. Now here's one. See how the toe plantar flex? That would be toes down in that situation. Okay. And then when you drive forward, see how he changed it to toes up? All right. So the athlete has to know how to use their body. They have to know toes up, knee drive, down. Okay. So the full drill is right there. And that's what we see. And that's what you'll see from your athletes when they are sprinting correctly, when they're in their max velocity phase. Your athlete will be standing straight up and down. That arm may be a little bit back farther, but that foot is on the ball of the foot and it's right under the hip, maybe even a little bit back. Okay? So that's what that would look like. Now, you have got to have toes up though. Okay? Knee drive. And it starts slow. A couple times you'll be here. You might even have to call it out. Okay? Hamstring, knee drive, down. That's how you instruct your athletes. But you've got to tell them the difference between a hamstring and a knee drive. Again, the full drill will look just like this. Hamstring, that's toe down, toe up. Knee drive, down right under the hip. That's what you're trying to teach them. Boom, right there, fire. Little arm involvement right there. Now, let's go back and let's watch that fast one. I'm going to try to pause it so you can see my hamstring. Okay, you see my hamstring activate to a knee drive. All right, that's what I'm doing there. So I have the good muscle memory to complete this drill. Your athletes will have to go through it slow in order for them to do it good. I hope that helps. That's the max velocity drill that you do on a wall. I was leaning against the wall right there.